This one's rolling, that one's rolling.
And we rolling? Oh, I need to.
What's that? Oh, just hit that big one. The button that says start, stop. Right next to the diopter.
We don't have a bottle.
What's the eyepiece? Is it on?
You're gonna have a wee shot of proper club at the moment. Is that what's in this cup right here? You've got the proper club.
Yeah.
You got the Irish. I'm Irish.
I'm Irish, didn't you know?
Don't you know?
All right.
Y'all get ready.
Here we go.
My Kaja is Irish.
What's up, Ray?
What's up, Mark?
Man, it's been a long, long time.
It has.
Things have changed and things have not.
Yeah. Oh yeah. We're gonna have a wee Irish evening of talking about the strength and conditioning. It's going to be a fun evening.
Sponsored by Conor McGregor.
Yeah.
Sponsored by Proper 12 and OE.
So,
And OE.
yeah.
That is,
OE's full. Oh, yeah. Well, you're dipping in.
A little bit of coke.
So, welcome back to Florida's Fittest Podcast. It's Mark and Mark. We got a special guest today.
I'm Ray.
Yeah.
those people right there.
Right now.
Hello.
Special. But, yeah, we're going to talk about all aspects of fitness, strength, and everything.
Yeah, I think we're gonna cover like competitive mindsets, like some cool vision stuff.
Just a lot of stuff.
Yeah, man.
You guys have been chopping it up for like the hour that I've been sitting up.
Yeah, you were setting up
behind the scenes.
We were chopping up. We got a lot of good behind the scenes footage. So
Yeah.
This is cool. Yeah, this will be fun. I think you guys will enjoy this.
yeah. So like, tell us about like we already touched on your origin story and like you've been basically powerlifting since you were 12. So like, let's get your whole background with that because they already know our backstories and
Yeah.
Cool.
I already went through like all hour-long podcast of my fitness journey. So
Sweet. Yeah. Well, I guess mine was, I was a little fat kid. I was like 100 pounds in third grade. No, 101 pounds in third grade. And I was the biggest kid in the class.
Yeah.
And in my head, that was good. I was like, yeah,
You were thick.
hey man, nobody's gonna bully you. When you're
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. So I thought that was cool. And then a few short months after that, actually, like maybe once I started fourth grade, you know, like a lot of maturity happened in those months.
Yeah.
Like started getting hair in random places.
Not quite yet, but I did notice like extra lines in my stomach. Like, wrinkles in my stomach in fourth grade. This is not good. Like I had like the long tube socks and then the t-shirt in the pool instead of taking my shirt off.
You wore socks.
That was me.
Yeah, dude, I don't want nothing showing.
What?
Bro.
Yeah.
Nothing.
No, I did that. I did that.
Yeah. There we go. But
High Boys Club.
yeah, I felt bad, and I was like, "Why am I doing this?" And I was like, I noticed all my little friends, like, you know, everyone is skinny in fourth grade except apparently me and like a handful of others. But you see the little kids running around, they have like the skinny kids six packs, and I was like, I don't like this. Like, I want to keep my shirt on. I don't like this. And my dad, he was a sniper in the Marine Corps, trained snipers, he was special forces. So, you know, I grew up, and he wasn't like super jacked or anything. My dad actually didn't start lifting until he was 44. But growing up, he was always in shape. He had something at the house. You know, he was always engaged with his fitness. You know, and I was like, dang, I feel bad about this. So after like a couple of years of kind of like just trying to like consciously be aware of how I looked and things like that, I was like, can I go to the gym? He was like sixth grade, about 12 years old. And he let me go to the gym with him, and it was on a Saturday. And he worked with this guy named Jeff Severo, who I really hope is watching, because Jeff, you were a serious person.
We always have that like one person who like totally changed our.
Yeah, he actually works at My 40 now.
That's
in
awesome.
Tampa, which is like super exclusive.
Yeah.
They have to have like oh, you guys are Tampa based. You know My 40, right?
That's Ben Mikowski's
Yep.
gym, right?
Yep.
Yeah. I listen to his podcast, Muscle Intelligence. I listen to his podcast probably every Monday.
Oh, he's in Tampa?
Yeah.
What a smart dude, right?
Dude, so
He's like
so many things I try to like implement in my workout routine, my fitness lifestyle. So
yeah, it's really cool.
Yeah.
He's very like smart. Like even I've seen like some of the machines that have like the loading mechanisms and levers that change like with what would be a stationary machine are intelligent. And I'm like, you would never think to develop a machine like that, you know? Like the guy's brilliant.
Oh yeah, like there's a lot of like habits that he has and like his total mindset on certain things and like health and fitness. He's totally changed my mindset and like
optimal.
Yeah,
There's
just
maximal, there's optimal. You want optimal. And I feel like he's that guy.
Yeah, because I've always been the type of person like, well, there's only so much I can do physically. What can I do to get an edge on other people? Like, what are they not doing? And then he kind of answers those questions for me.
1% over years, dude.
Yeah.
That's the competitive mindset for sure. Yeah. And dude, Jeff just like, he was mechanical and friggin' just a mechanic with everything. He was very smart, he's inspiring. And anyway, I deadlifted with this guy that day, and I was like 12, and I deadlifted, I think, 185. I mean, I was a bigger kid, so it's like not as impressive, but I was happy with it. And I went in there going like, oh, I'm going to look ripped. I'm going to look and be and feel and get, no.
Wrong sport.
Yep. If y'all know where we're going, we're headed towards powerlifting. So you see the difference already happening. Like, I deadlifted heavy the first day, and I was like, this is so much fun. I don't want to say like, damn the health, but I was like, this was fun. I loved it.
Yeah.
And I was like, I have to keep doing
Drink
this.
Kool-Aid.
Yeah. Oh man, it was like,
Yeah.
I mean the first session, dude. First session, I was like, I'm in.
Yeah.
Like, let's go. So, I started there. I went to my first competition. I started training when I was 11. And my first competition was 12 in Amelia Island in Jacksonville. Gondel Blue was
That's
there.
wild.
Yeah. And so anyone who says like you can't weightlift and be healthy, like starting young, like yes, you freaking can.
Yeah, I second that. Like I started lifting, because my dad was a strength coach. Like I played football.
You gotta do it right.
Yeah.
Like with anything else.
I started with dumbbells, like push-ups, dumbbells, and like
pull-ups.
Pull-ups, like push-ups, pull-ups, lunges, squats, dumbbells.
I'm gonna tell you guys a funny story. I told this to a couple of gym members. My first pull-ups. So my dad and I, we would run together every now and then, and then we came back and he was having us do. The goal was to do one pull-up, double the amount of push-ups. But we wanted to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 pull-ups, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20 push-ups. And I couldn't do pull-ups. So the first time we finished our run, he literally got a stick. I grew up on a farm. My dad just grabbed a stick out of the yard and he's like, get on the pull-up bar, let's see if we can do a pull-up. And I was like, I get like halfway up, he's like, you can do a pull-up.
Yeah.
He's like, you can do a pull-up. And I'm like, I don't know. He grabbed a stick, literally, put it in my butt, dude. Literally. And he was like, go. It was, it's like funny, it wasn't like mean, but it was like, I was like, oh my god. He's like, do it again. I was like, oh my god, and I got 2 pull-ups.
Now you can't do that stuff anymore. Like the stuff that we grew up.
Yeah, we can't play dodgeball in school
Yeah.
anymore.
Yeah.
If y'all start a dodgeball league, like y'all just like holler. we'll get a Tampa versus Orlando thing going.
Yeah, that'd be
Let's make it happen.
Yeah.
pretty interesting.
So I grew up with my dad, and I started lifting, and like, and I lost to a kid my first one. I got second place, and the teenage division was just like
Is it
under
open?
19. Like
Yeah.
that's all it
Open,
was.
yeah.
Like if you're not 20, like you're a teenager, and that's who you lifted against. So I lost against a 17-year-old kid in my weight class.
Oh.
And I was
That's
11.
Yeah, at 11 years old. Yeah.
Still pissed me off.
Yeah. Well, that's
Next
the
year-
that's the athlete in you.
Yeah, like I wanted to, I'm like,
Yeah.
dang, like, how do I beat you next year? And I did beat him next year, only by 5 pounds, but I beat him. And anyway, I got hooked, man, and I started listening to, ironically, like, totally by mistake, I'm wearing a West Side shirt, but I started reading Louis Simmons stuff when I was like 13, 14 years old, like from West Side Barbell. I was like, all right, I got beat, like, what are the strongest dudes doing? What are they doing? Like, how do I train like that? So I started researching this stuff when I was in like 7th, 8th grade. I remember in 7th grade, 8th grade, my technology teacher, I had a flyer. I was like, I'm going to be going for a state record at a competition this weekend. I handed out flyers to a World Gym competition in Oviedo, Florida, and like everyone's like, most kids in 7th, 8th grade.
Right.
I was also obsessed with Dragon Ball Z, but most kids are only obsessed with like Dragon Ball Z
Yeah,
or girls or
yeah.
like whatever. I was like, no, I'm breaking records.
Yeah,
I want to break records. And not a single person showed up, and I really didn't care because like I wanted to do it anyway. I'm
You're
like,
in your
Yeah.
own world at that point.
yeah,
That's all that mattered.
Yeah.
yeah, that's kind of where my mind was at. And I kind of, like, beforehand, like, we were talking a little bit, just we were talking. And I was diagnosed with mitral valve paralysis from my heart. You said you had a heart condition too, which is kind of cool because we're both, like, super competitive,
Yeah.
but, like, we both have, something kind
Your
of
obvious
against us.
limitation, yeah.
Yeah. And so my cardiologist was like, no, you shouldn't try to break this record. You shouldn't
stress,
try, like, you
yeah.
wouldn't do, like, you're not going to do well in this, like, just stop.
Yeah.
And that was the message I got, and I was like,
Fuck doctors.
I was like, what did you just say to me? You said I can't?
Mm-hmm.
Everything after that to me, like, I couldn't tell you what the rest of the conversation was. I just heard I can't, and I was like, I'm gonna. And when I was 15, I broke my first world record for a teenage division.
Nice.
Dude, that's sick.
It was a 427.5. I beat the record by 2.5 pounds. That was it, but I beat it. It was 427.5 deadlift at 165 when I was 15, and I was like, man, I slapped the record.
Yeah.
I was like you said about your swimming, like
Yeah.
he had a teacher that like discouraged him from
Miss
swimming.
Parrott. I hope Miss Parrott listens to this.
I hope
'cause
you listen.
I don't like you. Yeah, she told me that, like, I shouldn't swim and, like, I wouldn't get a scholarship and, like, I wouldn't have a chance to win states. And I don't know if you were doing it because you're a bigot. I don't know if you really believe that.
Shots,
But,
shade, all of it.
Yeah, because, like, most of my classmates were shocked that you would even say that. And then, like, my best friend was like, kind of argued with you during class. And, 2 weeks later, I brought my gold medal to class and slapped on your desk. And I just left and I didn't go to class that day.
Oh, I bet that felt good.
I was a state champion, so I needed to go to class.
Yeah.
So that was my mindset anyway at 15. So.
Yeah, it was a beautiful thing. Like, I totally don't lift with a chip anymore, but yeah, that definitely started it. That someone told me you can't, and I'm like, I'm not a talker. I was a super introvert. Like, if a female spoke to me that was young, old, pretty, ugly, like, if a female spoke to me, I was as red as that logo on your shirt. And I was super awkward and introverted, but I still had that, like, what are you saying to me?
Yeah.
That was still there.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm prove you wrong.
Yeah.
And that's very powerful if you can give it a productive trajectory and do it the correct
exactly.
way. It's like, so you got to do it right, but that's an important mindset to have is, prey versus predator. Shout out to Louis Simmons. Yeah. Prey versus predator. It's like, which one are you going to be? And it's in a competition setting, you are one or the other.
Yeah.
So I guess that was kind of my start.
So you talked about like kind of behind the scenes stuff, and like I told you, like there's a lot of behind the scenes stuff, especially with swimming and then going on to like CrossFit. And there's a whole, in any sport, there's a whole lot of behind the scenes action. For sure. But like you talk, like the smack talk is real.
Yeah.
Like, powerlifting.
Oh yeah.
Like what are,
that's great.
Like you ever kind of play head games with people in powerlifting?
Not in a competition.
Not in a competition?
Not in a competition. I try to do, that's interesting you say that. In training, I'm going to smack talk you until you're upset with me almost. Like it's all friendly, but at the same time, like I'm going to call you out on every little thing, especially if you're my training partners. Yeah. Because iron sharpens iron, so someone sharpens another. I'm a big believer in that verse. So like you are as sharp as people will make you. And I'm like, I feel like I'm required as your training partner to push you. Yeah. Not being a douche, but like you can do better.
Yeah. Like that was, that's how I got through high school swimming. That's how I got through college swimming. Like we talked about, we were sprinters. We talked a lot of shit to each other. Even like we talked shit to the distance swimmers. Like they would give us shit and like we'd give them shit.
Yeah, like little things. Yeah, sometimes like I was training with guys stronger than you and something like I'm not going to train with everyone who's weaker than me, but like even if someone is, if they're not quite up to my strength and I know I can beat them and it's not a competition that day, I was like, my rep was cleaner than your rep. Pause more. see how long you can pause that. Find something to push them a little bit. Be productive with it. But like, there's always that push there of like I'll bet you like 4 sets of 40 stiff legs that you can't get this next day. Little things like that. You can put money in the chalkboard, like whatever.
We had to do some like most of our trash talking or head games would be at competition, like whether it be like a dual meet or like a big meet. Like I've had people spit in my lane, and like I was like one of those swimmers where like I didn't like shaking everybody's hand before a race. I didn't like talking to anybody before a race. I had my headphones on, goggles on, I get it, just in my head, and somebody would be like, "Hey, good luck for a race," and I just kind of look at them like,
I'll shake your hand after.
I have a job to do. I was like, good luck. Like I wouldn't shake their hand, but I'd just be laser focused. I had one kid spit in my lane, and I kind of looked at him like, "You're gonna die."
Yeah. You gotta have that. Like the second I weighed in and made my weight class, like I just won that weight class. Yeah. That's the same sort of thing. Like I have a couple friends in my weight class that are on like a higher level of lifting. Masty, I hope you're listening, dude. You're freaking awesome. But like legit, like I made a post about this, and it was so cool that I thought he reposted it too, because we lifted against each other at nationals, at a national level. Like and I took first and took second. But it was so much fun, and we didn't know we were in the same weight class until I think we were doing our benches, like the squat, bench, and the deadlift. So like we were helping each other warm up through squat, and we got in bench, and it was like, oh dang, we're in the same weight class. So like we've been helping each other all day. Like why would we stop? I mean, like I want you at your best when. Like whoever wins, like we need to be at our best. Yeah. Like I don't want the cheap win. Don't give me the cheap win. I want you to be perfect. Yes. You better be perfect. And I don't want to be. We're not cheapening this for anybody. Like whoever wins, like whatever wins, like the best guy shows up straight up. That's how competition is. But like I want you to be as comfortable and I want you to be as good as you can be. Whoever wins, because otherwise it's like, oh man, I beat him, but he was at like 85. He had an injury. No, that's not the same, dude. No. That's not the same. No. And I want that guy. I want that guy, and he did too. And it was great. And we're good friends now, and I can't wait to see him. I can't wait to see him nationals. Yeah, I can't wait to see him nationals. So I'll tell you. But like there's a productive camaraderie that comes with like the smack talk.
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
Cool. Yeah. It's like it's healthy. It's still
especially
like
if you still compete with the same people in the same circuit. Like you see them often at like different meets and stuff like that. Like
for sure.
You know them. Like I mean I've had friends and teammates like Hunter Henson. Like we. He's a good old, Georgia boy. I'm from Florida, like originally from New York, so And we were like, best of friends. Like I hosted him on a recruit at Florida State. Unfortunately, he went to Alabama, but I mean, I can't promise him scholarships, but he, awesome dude, really humble.
Yeah.
We had one of the best, races of at least top 3 in like my life.
Yeah.
Was at Zones. We actually.
That's where competing gets fun too.
Yeah. Like, he took, I think, 2nd in the 100 fly. I took 3rd.
Yeah.
And some kid from Tennessee beat us both, and we were like, dude, we're not letting him beat us in the 200.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, you want to go for a hat trick? Like, sweep top 3 on the podium? I'm like,
yeah,
dude, fuck yeah.
Yes!
He's like, we just need to get CJ to touch the wall 3rd. And we're like, hey, we're going to, we're always going to duke it out because, we know where we're at. Yeah, we've been duking it out for the last 4 years. I'm like, yeah, bro, it's just, best man touches the wall first.
Yeah, let's go.
And, we went head to head, and like he knew my race strategy, and I knew like if you're not ahead of me within the last lap, like you're not gonna catch me.
Yeah.
And he's like,
That's
dude,
awesome.
You pulled off on that last lap, and I was like, God damn, I ain't gonna catch him. And he's like, I tried, dude, I tried. He's like, you just won't. You're just unrelenting. I was like, dude, I told you.
Perfect.
But we hit the wall, 1-2, and then we were so worried, we're like, dude, let's get that hat trick. And CJ hit the wall, just out-touched that kid from Tennessee. I forgot his name. He's not really important because he got 4th. But
yeah,
we hit the wall and we swept the podium and like, well, yeah, Team Florida because Florida's the best. So
yeah,
it was definitely like the most memorable meet of one of the most memorable meets of my swimming career.
That's cool.
And,
guys, by the way, this man has raced Michael Phelps. I didn't know that before
Yeah.
today. That's sick. That's so sick. He's been at a collegiate level, NCAA level, to race Michael Phelps.
Yeah.
The F?
I was 15 at the Missouri Grand Prix. What year is it? 2007.
Yeah.
And prior to Olympic year, so most top level athletes like Michael Phelps are not tapered down. They're in the middle of their heavy training session.
Yeah.
So this
Not
is kind of like just kind of like this is a contract meet because he's a contract with Speedo, so he has to do this meet.
Mm-hmm.
He's probably not 100%, but he's like, well, I can't lose, so I got to win. And me being 15, I'm like, I'm sitting right next to Michael Phelps and prelims. I'm like, sweet, like,
how do you not see what you got against something like that?
Dude, it's like the world record holder.
Yeah.
And my coach is trying to tell me like race strategy and all this stuff. And
You're like, no, I'm
just
trying
like,
to beat him.
yeah, okay, like pace the first 100, go hard the second 100, got it. Didn't do that. Went out the first 100, a second slower than my best 100 time. So like my best 100 time was like a 56. I went out in a 57. As I'm turning to go to the 150, I noticed that I touched the wall before Michael Phelps at the 100 mark. And I was just so overjoyed, like such adrenaline rush.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my God, I'm swimming so fast. Like I'm on world record pace. And I don't know if you guys ever been in like the presence of a predator before, like whether it be in the water or on land. His eyes locked on me and he moved past me like I was standing still. And it was a very deflating moment at that time. And then that's when the adrenaline wore off and I felt every pain because I went out too hard. Yeah, for the first 100. So that second 100 was improvised drowning to the wall. And I touched the wall. He ended up setting the world record at the time, which I think was like 154. It's just long course, 200 meters. And I shook his hand and everything like that. And he's like, hey man, good race. I'm like, no, like what you spent was a good race. Like I just, my coach was like, bro, what the hell was that? I'm like, I was racing Michael Phelps. Everything went out the window. So,
yeah.
But definitely that is like the number one. Like out of all my swimming accolades, like
that's a moment.
Yeah, that is like the top moment of my swimming career. Straight to him. So
that's so cool.
Yeah. But like, I mean, dude, you've been on nationals and all this other stuff. Like that's, I don't know. Winning is always going to feel better than losing. But
if you're going to lose,
yeah,
someone like Michael
Lose to
Phelps
Michael
is
Phelps.
like it's a respectable loss.
yeah. So
that's cool, man. That's awesome. Yeah, sick. That's crazy. Like I'm supposed to be good people, but Michael Phelps across the board as an athlete,
dude,
like regardless of sport.
He's just a freak of nature, man. Like,
Yeah.
I found out later that he even split his race. So he went out the same time. His second 100 was the same time as his first 100, which is
Wow.
It's unheard of in swimming.
Yeah,
like, you
that's-
just
that's
don't do that. Like, you can probably do it in track, like, but you can't do it in swimming. Like, it's just not possible.
Yeah, that makes
Obviously, Michael Phelps is a very exceptional human being. So
Enigma.
yeah, he's a nut. Like, he's just a freak of nature. Like, he's
Yeah.
built to swim.
That's cool.
So,
That's freaking cool.
yeah, it was like it's definitely top.
That's pretty cool.
Top swimming
Cool
experience.
story to have.
Yeah, it's going to be given to my kids and my grandkids. So
Yeah. Absolutely, man.
the only thing I wish was like I wish it was during like the social media age. That way I had like video of it,
Yeah.
'Cause, like that would have been cool. Like, hey, like show them, even if it's like really shitty pixels.
It's like, this was me against Michael
Yeah,
Phelps.
15, all lanky armed and
So you can't even tell. Is that really Michael though?
yeah, exactly. They question everything.
Yeah.
Well, it was in Missouri, University of Mizzou. Like they had the big jumbotron, and
Yeah.
like that pool was at the time was state. It's probably is, but it's still like state of the art. And like they had cameras on the bottom of the pool, so like they could see you swimming underwater, and they would post on the jumbotron. So it was really cool.
Yeah.
No other pool had at least I knew like had that at that time. So
Yeah.
that was definitely like one of the nicer pools I ever swam in.
That's cool.
Other than that, like the state of Missouri is kind of weird. It's not Florida, so
Definitely not. Yeah.
definitely very slow pace.
Yeah.
But,
Pick some skids for all you that watch Leather Kenny.
Yeah, that's really like a very cool, like, I guess you could say a legacy to kind of leave behind.
yeah.
I mean, like, is that kind of, what's the direction of things that you're kind of going in right now? Because you said, this is something like, I think at the start, you have a tendency to kind of, you said you don't lift with a chip anymore.
For sure.
So what is it that's kind of driving you forward in anything that you're
I
doing?
love that question. That's such a good question. So, I've been told this multiple times throughout my life, and probably until I was maybe like 23 or 24, I couldn't really rationalize this and how it looked for me. Because you hear all the bodybuilding stories, at least I have, because I grew up watching bodybuilding and powerlifting and things like that. Everyone said it's a very selfish sport.
Yeah.
You have to be a totally selfish person to be the number one in the sport. And like that bothers me. That really bothers me because I don't think of myself like that. I really feel like I'm not a selfish. I try not to be selfish. Like that's a conscious thing for me. I try not to be selfish. So I'm like, man. And I remember this. My brother told me this. I love my brother. I'm very close to my brother, and he said this. And I was like, it took me like a year to really figure out how do you dispel that, because there's a lot of truth to that for a lot of people.
Yeah.
And I'm like, dang, like in my head and my beliefs, if you don't know, I'm a Christian. I'm not like yeah, I'm dipping, but whatever. You'll be fine.
Dude, everyone sins, dude. Like God.
No one's
God,
perfect.
yeah, God's
No
gonna
one's
forgive
perfect.
you no matter what. So.
But like I've always grown up with the belief that like the strongest person you can be is someone who lives for others. I'm like, okay, so why are the strongest people in the sport the ones that are prospering? Like why that doesn't make sense to the theology that I agree with and what I choose to believe in. So I'm like, how do you balance that? And it took me like a while to really figure out, not just one for myself theologically, how do I navigate that barbed wire? Like that's like a hoop to jump through, like philosophically, psychologically, in every way. It's direct contradiction, So I'm like, what does that look like? And I started thinking about like different people that I've seen that have been helped with this sport. And I'm like, okay, well you can lift for charity, you can do things like that. So for me, it's like, it's starting to look more like I understand the people that I lift with and their personal problems, but how I've interpreted in a business model is really cool. It's an organization called Compassion. I hope they see this because they've been in contact with me, and it's an amazing organization. So it's like $38 a month, and you sponsor a kid. It gets them 3 squares a day in schooling consistently, any third world country in the world.
That's awesome.
So we have 17 people on the sponsored team, which is 17 kids. And basically how that works is I try to sell online programs to compensate for that loss of income, but a program for the team. Basically, if you'll sponsor a kid for $38 a month, like I'm going to give you free coaching, and you have access to the gym entirely for free. So now we're going to go to these high-level competitions and exhibit physical strength, but you don't get on the team if you're not helping someone and pen paling this kid. Like you
Yeah.
write the
Oh, wow.
kid. Yeah, like you develop a relationship with the kid, so it's like it's like two sides of the same coin. It's really cool because like the people on our side of things, the more privileged world, like, yeah, we've all got struggles here, especially right now being a gym owner, like, yeah, finances are rough right now, but like, you see both sides of the coin. This kid, like I can't pay gym rent very effectively right now. This kid has to go look for his meals tomorrow. So like from an athlete perspective, you get that the reality check of like people live like this.
Mm-hmm.
But from the kid's perspective, they get this athlete that knows about leadership and has these privileges and things like that. And it's like it's just productive. It's a full circle. Like all backs get,
I
get
feel like
scratched.
that's,
you know,
like, because we've riffed on like the difference between like us growing up now or back then and like kids now, and I feel like the biggest thing that kids now are missing are mentors, like really strong mentors.
Yeah.
And
People that understand things
Yeah.
like competition and the value
Yeah.
behind it and how to help someone.
exactly,
It's
like,
important.
Yeah, it's so important. Like, you know, some kids like they don't like. I hate participation trophies. I never got one growing up.
Same.
Like, and
Same.
like I told you a little bit about like my dad. Like my dad's a hard ass. Like there's no way. He knows what he wants, and he has no filter. So, and like the people who've met my father, like I know a couple of my teammates have met my father. My siblings will tell you, like, he's gonna say whatever's on his mind, whether it's good or bad, and you're gonna have to be.
That's real though.
Yeah,
Real is
he's
good.
Yeah, he's the realest person you'll ever meet.
Yeah, it's perfect.
And yeah, some people don't like it. Like they don't like that he has no filter, and some people can handle it. And you know, like I don't know any difference. Like you can cuss me all day, and I won't bat an eye, but it's almost as constructive. Like that's how
Yeah,
it is.
so like, did you
But-
you taught me something out there, right?
Yeah.
All right, I'm good.
And like, I feel like they need that kind of hardness, and like, because the world's not going to give you like roll over and give you a trophy. Like, oh, you tried today, all right, you're going to get a participation trophy just like everyone else. Like, no, like you need to be successful. Like, we're going to teach you how to lose. We're going to teach you how to win.
Yeah.
And like, you're going to want. We're going to teach you how to do both. Like,
Yeah.
how to handle it, how to handle adversity, and all these things. So, I feel like that's very important, especially in like today's society, because like things are not given out to you, and like. Everything is earned. You have to work for it.
Yeah, especially
Like,
success in life.
yeah.
If you're talking about financially, like there are skill sets you have to learn. If you don't learn those skill sets, you do not get to provide for your family.
Yeah.
You don't get to provide for anyone else. You want to provide on top of that. You better learn those skill sets, or you don't get the reward, or you sit in credit card debt and you leave debt at the end of your life. And
Yeah.
that's the last thing you want for your children or your loved ones. You
Pretty
know,
lousy
that's-
legacy.
Yeah, like what a terrible legacy. Like, yeah, here's my debt. This was fun. Later.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, no, man. Like, no, I want you to be taken care of. Like, and that's kind of funny too. That's why I like scripture too, is because there's 4 definitions of love. One being discipline. If you're not teaching these things of how to operate in the world and how to learn, like learning how to learn, that's a skill set.
Yeah.
Like learning is a skill set, but learning how to learn different skills, that's a different skill set.
Yeah.
You need to learn that.
Yeah. Just like just being open to learn. Like some people are so set in their ways. Like I love my grandfather, but he's so set in his ways. Like he refuses to.
There's like a word for it now. It's like old head, right? Like,
Or
we'll call him he's
boomer.
old head.
Yeah, or boomer. We've been.
I guess that's a
Yeah.
that's
I've been
something
called
to
boomer.
throw it around.
Really?
I don't know how I'm a boomer.
Someone said us millennials to me last night on the phone. And I was like,
Well, I hate being categorized in the millennial
I'm
category.
almost 30. Like,
Yeah.
don't say that.
We do fall in there, but I think it's just a different work ethic, and
Yeah.
it's like you're saying, it's like, I mean, even with the stuff that you're talking about when it comes to competition, like I didn't necessarily come from that. Like probably insist that I'm more like a nerd, I think, of anything. So I never. yeah. And that's not
You
like
better be nerds.
Yeah.
What you love, you better be nerds about it.
yeah, like obsessively about it. But I mean, never really got into competition, honestly, so like probably when I was 23, 24, and I started training. And
Yeah.
even then, I was still trying to push against it. But it was like learning that you're able to basically manifest your own destiny.
You really are.
Yeah.
You really are.
Because I mean, you were saying you kind of did start with a chip on your shoulder, and you started out.
And it evolves from there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like there's a catalyst. Someone's got a point in their life. It's like you're gonna get in or you're gonna get out.
Yeah.
It's like, what'd you choose?
Yeah.
Did you stick with it? And you know, and then once you know you're in, Now the mind starts to evolve a little bit, you know, and you're like, why do I want to stay? Why do I have to stay here? It's almost like I have to. Like, I have to stay in this mindset, you know?
Yeah.
And it's like, you can't get out of it. And you enjoy staying in it.
Yeah.
So, but now you're forced with
Yes.
other mental gymnastics of like,
Oh, man.
how do I justify this without being, you know, for me, how do I feel like
Yeah.
I chase this without being selfish?
Yeah,
You know, and
absolutely.
it's like, dang, you know, now there's like 17 kids sponsored. It's
Yeah.
like, it's grown into this big charity thing. And I'm like, this is so cool. Like, it worked. It worked, dude. It's like, now I can enjoy my training without feeling like I'm selfish, because like, it's, you know, it's both and, not either or. It's not like you have to be selfless and weak or selfish and strong. It's like, no. It's like, selflessness is the strongest you can be. And it's like, and it's just, now we're going through the first giant.
So going over the sumo deadlift, this is her first time doing a sumo deadlift. Literally today is her first day. So we're kind of fixing some of the beginner tweaks that might be there, and she's already improved a lot. You guys are getting like the very nice version. She's a very fast learner, so this should be fun to watch. When building tension in the sumo deadlift, when you squat down, you don't want to be a knee dominant movement, right? You want to push the hips back. You want back and hips, not just the legs. Like if you're just legs or if you're just back, you're weak. If you're legs and back, you're strong. It's more musculature. It's a safer position for the spine. Everything's reinforced. The body works together. That's what you want to go for with a sumo deadlift. Don't try to start too upright. Don't make it a squat. It's not a squat. So that's the big thing we went on. There's two main cues on the deadlift, especially the sumo position. Generally, people are weaker off of the floor. Let me show you real quick. Find a position where your shins are vertical on the floor. If your knees start caving in, you don't want to be there. So with our starting position, go ahead and get starting position. Guess we'll go a little bit more. You'll be able to see from the side that her shin is not tracking forward a whole lot or backwards a whole lot. It's pretty much vertical into the floor. So go ahead and just set up on the bar. You don't have to do a rep, just get tight on the bar. Good, so this is very, very linear. It's not exaggerated one way or the other. That's what you want to do for the setup. Perfect. So when you start off the floor, just kind of hold tension. You want to make sure that you're tight. Don't yank, don't build tension with the bar while trying to lift the bar. Build tension with the bar before you lift the bar. It's also, there's a common term, pulling the slack out of the bar. I don't know if I entirely agree on it, especially on a stiff bar. Different talk, different time. Regardless, you want your lats to stay tight. You want your air up here, and you want to push your abdominal wall out to brace. That's what's going to help to brace the spine and the back. And a big one is the T-spine. You see people fail deadlift here. That's T-spine and core weakness. So you want to brace that while loading on the bar, before you're lifting the bar. There's a difference between loading on the bar and lifting the bar. Two cues off the floor. You need patience with sumo. You're generally going to be a little weaker off the floor. You have a wider base, takes a little more time to generate force. As you go up, don't pull straight up. If you pull straight up from where you start, you're going to be on your toes, you're going to be forward, your back can't lock out, and your hips are not being taken advantage of. So the second you break it off the floor, I think up and then pull back. Like someone has a string on your hip, and the second this bar gets to your knee, approaches your knee, someone yanks the string on your hip, and you shove your glutes into the bar, okay? Maintain lat tightness. That's not an excuse to deadlift like this. Still maintain lat tightness and core tightness, but think mainly about the hips once you pass your knee. Then, if you're in a good position right there, odds of finishing the lift are a lot higher. So we're just gonna do like 5 singles, and we'll get some verbal correction if there needs to be. If there's not, then she's a freaking awesome deadlifter. So just 5 reps, one at a time. Just try to think about make every rep feel the same, okay? Good. There we go. One thing you guys will be able to see from that profile, you'll be able to see how far back the hips are, and the hips are not under the spine. You don't want shoulders and hips lined up. You want the hips out here and the shoulders right here. Okay, that's a good trademark of using the back with the hips. We want both. Rep 2. Good. There we go. Good, a little more air. Now cue speed through the middle. Never think speed off the floor with sumo. Almost never, unless you're like, who does that? What's the 220 guy? I can't remember his name right now. Dang it. He's the most explosive type 2B fiber lifter I've ever friggin' seen in my life. Unless you're that guy who deadlifts like 804 at 220, don't pull fast sumo off the floor, especially with a stiff bar. Build tension and then accelerate. So a big cue for the sumo, after you break it off the floor, patience off the floor, and then accelerate to the top. Those are 2 really important cues for sumo if the position is already good. Those are the 2 main things you want to think. So we're going to try it again with cueing speed through the middle of the lift. Cool? Build tightness. Go. There we go. See, there's a snap at the top. There's a snap at the top. We got 2 more, okay? Kind of do them on your own. There we go. Good. 1 more. Doing awesome. Yeah, very good, very good. Heck yeah. Good job.
Thank you.
So I'm going to point out some tendencies and a quick weakness evaluation for anyone that's kind of watching the video. You see in the middle is the slowest range of motion. That's going to tell you your weakness. So if you're slow off the floor, generally it's quads. It could be glutes, but generally it's quads, or if the back can't handle the load and the rate of force development the hips can generate. Those are your main weaknesses if you're slow off the floor. You're slow in the middle. Generally, you're looking at the core and the ability of the glutes and hamstrings to fire. They might not be weak. There's a big debate in the physical therapy world of activated versus weak. Regardless, they need work. As a strength coach, that's what I can tell you. And then at the tippy top, if the lockout looks like this, you have a grandpa booty, and you need more trap and core work. You need to maintain spinal stability throughout the middle of the lift, so you're at an advantageous position at the top. But if the hips can't pull through to the bar, then the upper body will compensate. Like if you're right here, and you know to lock the hips out, like this still is not a lockout. The shoulder's not behind the hip joint. Red lights. Okay. So a workout to fix the middle part of a deadlift would be like a pause to deadlift. That's highly specific. A banded deadlift, a Dimmel deadlift, any of those would all help to target the weakness in the middle of any deadlift. You can do those sumo, you can do those wide grip, you can do those against bands, you can do them with chains, you can do them any way you like. But those are the main lifts I would suggest as a secondary main lift. Depending on what program you're following, you can go main lift and then all single joint, or you can do main lift, secondary main lift, tertiary main lift, and then a little bit of accessories. However you want to separate it, those are my top 3 for middle portion of the deadlift being slower, whether you're sumo or conventional. Cool? That's the deadlift.
And I just look at the evolution of the sport. Like I use swimming because that was the sport that I spent 14 years in swimming.
Yeah.
Like that's all I knew. Like I weight trained outside of it. Like yeah. Mark Shark, Black Dolphin.
Yeah.
Token, all these nicknames that I have.
That's cool.
But
Token?
yeah.
Wow, that's jacked up. That took me like a second. That's pretty funny.
Yeah, it is what it is. It's whatever. Right?
Yeah.
I never got offended by it. Like my coach. Some of my coaches got upset, and I'm like, listen, I've been dealing with it my whole life. Like
you're like, it's water off my back, so to speak.
Yeah.
I can say.
I mean, it's either you're gonna get upset about it or you're just gonna move on and beat them. Like it's kind of probably what added to like chip on my shoulder. I was always like discredited, so I was like, all right, well.
Like, watch this. Yeah.
Like, I'm gonna touch them all.
I'll see you in second place.
So, but I don't even know where I was going with this.
Just it's a motivator, man.
Yeah, it's just
the mental evolution of a competitor.
Yeah, like the evolution of sports is just crazy, and what I like I was that selfish athlete until I got injured my junior year of college.
Yeah.
And then when I was offered that managerial scholarship, I saw the difference of like coaching, being an athlete, coach from the coach's perspective, of coaching athletes.
Yeah.
So I was picking up things like other athletes were doing. I was like, hey, because I work basically with the kids who didn't make the conference team, and were basically the ones not traveling.
Yeah.
So I was like, hey, you want to make that conference team? Like, you need to do this, this, and this. So, like, your turns are effed up. Like, you need to change this. Like, fix this. Like, this is gonna make you so much better. If you make it.
You're losing half a second, like right here in this one spot.
Yeah.
Like,
there's 3 turns in 100. If you can nail those 3 turns, that's half a second off your overall time, or that's a full second off your overall time. Right? Yeah. That makes so much sense. It's like there's 7 turns in a 200. That's over 3 seconds in your overall time. They're like, really? I'm like, if you work on those 7 turns, like you'll literally be 3 seconds faster. And they're like, yeah, that makes so much sense. And I'm like, all right. It's like, how do you do your turns? I'm like, so I'd show them, and like, oh, okay. Like, let me work on this. And like, she's like, am I doing this right? I'm like, yeah. Like, certain things, like, hey, you can't take off on this practice. You chase him. Yeah. He's gonna go to NCAA's. Chase him. I'm like, all right, I'll do that. Like, and just working with different athletes and like talking to different recruits, it's like, hey, your life can change in 3 seconds. Literally, like, I tore my labrum and that was it. I was done. And they're like, oh, shoot, like, take care of your body, make sure you're eating right and all this stuff, and like, take care of school, like, because swimming's not going to be there forever, so make sure you take care of school too. Yeah. And after college, I started coaching younger kids, and I've always coached, like, I've always taught swim lessons like throughout high school. Mm-hmm. I started coaching younger kids, and like I could just see like oh, you're a college athlete. I'm like, Yeah, like I swam in college. I'm like, dude, that must have took so much hard work. He's like, you think I get there? I was like, you can do whatever you want.
Yeah.
He's like, as long as you have a goal, like you can reach it. Like as long as you work hard, yeah. You just got to figure it out. Like I had to figure it out. Like I had certain things in my life that made me have a chip on my shoulder. So I was like, that's what motivated me. It was like once I got to the high school level, I knew that I wanted to get out of Sarasota, and I wanted to get a scholarship, and that's where it took me.
That's what you did.
And I was like, if you want something, like, well, it's all up to you. Like it's not, it doesn't matter what anybody else does.
It's like a pursuit of happiness.
Yeah,
like, if
yeah,
you want something, go get it.
Yeah, go, yeah.
Period.
Basically, what I told these kids, and like they're like, that's so cool. And like they would be so proud to like, be like, oh, that's my coach. Like he taught me how to swim, like up and down the pool and like breaststroke and all this stuff. And I'm like, yeah, like just all you have to do is work hard and be humble. Like that's it.
I agree.
And
totally agree.
And I think
it shows like how you carry yourself, and like I've had athletes just like totally just become more confident because they took pride in what they did. Like they were like, oh man, I made the B team. Like they get into like the slump. It was like, no, dude, that gives you an opportunity to get better. Like if you're on the B team this year, you're gonna be on the A team next year.
Yeah.
So they're like, just have a goal in mind. Like it doesn't matter like if you're a walk on or 5-star recruit. You have a
Doesn't matter where you're at.
Yeah.
I mean, you can get where you want to get most of the time.
Yeah.
Except for that,
You
like
have to
1%
work
of the
hard.
1% that are just genetically freaks, like Phelps, things
Oh,
like
yeah,
that.
yeah.
Like, but you still get to the Olympic trials. I mean, like that's how many people do that? Like that's
Yeah,
another
exactly,
1%
yeah.
of the situation.
How many
So it's
people? How many people beat college? It's
Not very many.
It's very marginal. So
Yeah.
it's like the fact that you're here like means that you belong where you belong here.
yeah.
Well, you also told me a lot of like some prime examples of people who were very, very talented, but they didn't necessarily take advantage of those things, and they will fall off.
Yeah.
So,
I've had teammates who swam 1 year of high school, got a scholarship, and then just didn't happen in college.
Yeah.
Or even during our conditioning, like we get there 3 weeks before school starts, and we don't touch the pool until like week 2. So like the first week is all we run stadiums, and like I remember my first day of college, all cardio based. Yeah, 5 o'clock in the morning. Yeah.
1 rep.
Yeah. So that like if you're being coached, you never ask how many reps you're doing.
No, you just
Yeah.
Just do it.
So it's just like, hey, we're running stadiums, 2-minute intervals, make it up and down, go. Make sure you make the interval.
Yeah.
Step number 1.
For sure.
Step number 2, don't ask how many you're doing.
Because then you will have more than you initially had.
Yeah.
So if you have a good coach.
Like basically, somebody asked, we already did like 14. I think the goal was to do 20 stadium runs.
Yeah.
Some dumbass freshman asked, hey coach, how many we're doing? He's like, oh, well, we're going to do 20, but we're going to go until I'm tired. Not till you're tired, till I'm tired. Till I'm tired watching you. So we just kept going. We went for 2.5 hours up and down stadiums.
Oh, man.
Oh yeah. Have you seen Remember the Titans?
Yeah,
Like,
basically.
we are going to do up downs until blue is no longer hot
tired
and thirsty.
Yeah. Basically, that's the moment. And
Yeah.
then like,
Just shut up and do it.
and the coach was very serious. Like, if you want to be here, you're going to work hard. We had 5 kids on scholarship that he cut on the first day. And like that's how we knew, like, oh, this is real.
For real.
This is for real.
Yeah,
Like,
he wants to win.
yeah, like,
He didn't have to win it.
yeah.
Letterkenny reference. I watch too much Letterkenny right now, guys. I apologize. If you guys
So
don't
like I've had so many examples of that, and like I've had teammates who didn't work hard, like we had spring conditioning because we're out of season, and we had a kid didn't make the interval on stadiums, and we had to keep doing repeats, so kept on getting stuck on that 20th rep of stadium run. Finally, we had a team captain. We were like, hey coach, you guys can take off. We're going to take care of this, and we're not going to say that we beat the shit out of him. But he made the intervals after that and was bruised a little bit at practice.
He fell.
Yeah, he fell downstairs.
He had an oopsie daisy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really funny. It's really funny. That's like we kind of act like that's a whole different world, but I think when people genuinely care, like it's weird to say that that's for your own sake. It sounds like something like such a like an old school dad sort of thing to say.
I feel like such a dad when I talk about
Right,
stuff now.
right.
Like,
But I mean, that's
I feel the same way because like I feel like we're similar in age. Like I feel like we're we're in like a different world. Like we grew up in a different era.
Well, so just because you just see the value of all that hard work and what it like led to, or what it helped to create. And I think it's interesting that you mentioned that you go over this hump where you no longer come from a place of like you're motivated by this chip on your shoulder, but I think you're sort of more motivated by seeing the other people. Like for me, it's that flash in their eyes when you give them just a little bit of a cue. It's like if you use your hips,
like literally when you guys see this deadlift, like. When I see a good rep, I'm like, whoa! I'll break the mic on this thing, but like, I'll start yelling.
Yeah.
I get so excited. It clicked. Like that was the light bulb. That was it. That's what I wanted to see.
Yeah.
And now you feel that, and now you can replicate it. It's
Exactly.
It's like an epiphany for the body.
Yeah.
With athletic performance.
And it cuts the learning curve. I mean, because I remember, we all have that are like our memories and like the challenges with the face. So now you can like share that, and I think that's like probably one of the best legacies of this space. And it's interesting to me that like like I said, like I was a nerd and I really didn't give a crap about all this stuff and the competition and all that. But then when I recognized that it went beyond just what I was doing, but like one of the kids that I trained, and I'm gonna go into one of the kids that you trained that made you cry. One of the kids I trained had scoliosis, and typically what they tell this kid is like you've got rods going through your spine. You're not gonna be able to do you're not gonna be able to lift any heavy weights, and he struggled to put on weight.
Yeah.
I think he was like 19, 20 years old and like 5'8", and he was like 130 pounds soaking wet. So this small kid.
Yeah.
But I mean, like after I was done with him, I mean, I basically fed him. I think we got him up to like about 150 pounds, and he had a pretty decent he wasn't afraid to lift. He wasn't afraid to deadlift anymore, and he wasn't afraid to squat heavy.
That first part of the sentence, wasn't afraid.
Yeah.
That is a transferable skill into business, into life, into a relationship, into your faith, into anything. Like you learn that in sports, and I feel like some of that, like athletes.
It translates.
You can't be afraid to fail, and that's a huge thing too. Like people are like, what if I fail? What if I screw up? And I struggle with that for a good portion of my life, and finally I was just like.
I think the problem with the whole notion of failure.
I'll learn.
Yeah.
It's not a failure until I give up.
The problem with the notion of failure is that it seems so final.
Yeah, it does. There's always
but really, you almost on a day-to-day basis, you have several failures.
Yeah.
Like today, after you left, I was like, I haven't deadlifted in a long, long time. But I think it was just, honestly, it was probably something in the air.
Yeah.
But it was just the environment, and I hadn't pulled anything over God, what was our last if anything, whatever we cleaned. The last we cleaned, that would be the most I've ever pulled off the ground. Probably in the late higher twos, if anything.
Yeah.
So maybe 225.
I think your clean max was 205.
Yeah. So I haven't pulled anything heavy.
Over 200. Yeah. Over 200.
And last time I hung out with you almost three years ago.
Close to 3.
It was 5. This is probably the first time I pulled 5 off the ground.
That's sick.
So today it was all right, whatever. Let's just shoot for it. And then maybe it was all that food I ate.
Yeah.
I was able to pull 4.
In the rain.
425 off the ground, and then it was all right. I
can do 450. I was that's 455 on the bar. He's same thing.
Says it's 5 pounds.
Yeah. He'll go for it.
Yeah.
The bar moved. It
didn't go up.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah. And when you got it and when you don't. I actually had a PB today, beltless PB. I've never pulled
405 with no belt. That was the first time.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So I was very happy, and I haven't deadlifted over a year, other than clean grip deadlifts, which never go really heavy.
I've been trying to but beyond on the other side of failure. The thing that I've been trying to figure out is what is motivation? Because we talk about it all the time.
Yeah.
And I think it's part of it is just creating these reference experiences where you're constantly proving to yourself that no matter what failures I think I'm going to encounter on a day-to-day basis, I'll have these moments of reference where I can prove to myself that I'm able to do something.
Yes. That's important.
I mean, when you just 15 and you pulled 4. That's
Yeah. And a half.
That's wild. It was still pretty wild.
Yeah.
And that's up there for 15. What did you weigh? 165?
Literally, I think I weighed in 163.
Yeah.
Ryan Kennelly weighed me in. Ryan Kennelly was the second guy I ever bench press over $1,000.
I think
I was like, he's weighing me in?
Yeah. I was at 162.3, I think, in my last meet, and actually I cut down to that weight. I normally walk around 175 to 180.
Yeah.
Cut down to 162 just cause.
Yeah.
and I'm taller too, so that was a little bit. I mean, you're taller, but I mean, like pulled about there, and I got. I mean, it was like I got third simply because of the fact that I did the work on cut weight, and I think that was interesting because there were other people there. I was listening to people's conversations, and I remember this guy's like, I didn't bother cutting weight. I'm a powerlifter, whatever. That's not that big of a deal. So I mean, like it's a difference between the willingness
You got
to.
top 3 in that game.
Yeah,
Probably didn't.
I didn't even expect to get top 3. This was completely unexpected. I was ready to leave.
Yeah.
It was just like it was a good meeting. We had fun. My buddy was trying to cut from like 230 to like 190 something.
Dang.
It was a huge cut,
Very good cut.
and he did really good.
I feel like he gets like he.
Oh, he got
Yeah,
stuck
he gets
hard.
sick, dude. Like,
He didn't get sick. Like Juan, if you're listening to this, he's like old school, like got like Filipino mentality. So it was just like he's just gonna power through it. Like he ate nothing but like meatballs from IKEA because I told him to basically go like high protein, low carb for
no
like
carb,
3
yeah.
months.
Dude, I bet he ran the dog out of the house with farts. Oh my gosh, straight meatballs. Oh my gosh.
that's a lot.
That's probably the cleanest thing he ate. Honestly, those 3 months.
I was cutting for a fight one time, and I had, this is so bad, in 36 hours I cut 29 pounds.
What were you fighting at? What weight?
170.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh.
I'm like 6 foot, and I walk around about 250.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
a
And
lot of
I walked
weight.
around less than that, but I mean legit, like the whole day, I just didn't drink water. I would train for 30 minutes in the sauna, get out for 30 minutes, and I worked at LA Fittest at the time. My manager, Katie, who actually, I think she manages one of the UFC gyms in Orlando now. Small world, crazy small world. And I was eating on a head of lettuce. That's what I had the whole day, was a head of lettuce.
Oh my god, dude.
So I was eating it, and then she came in at noon, so I was like,
Yeah,
halfway
how
through
are you
this,
doing?
and she's like, what, you munching on an apple? And I was just like,
That is.
and I showed her the end of it, and she was like, oh my god, I was like, don't talk to me today.
It's disgusting.
Yeah, I'm like,
Dude,
I don't have words today.
Yeah.
Like, just.
Well, that's why you don't want to become a millennial, because I think it's just there is like this association with people who are considered millennials that don't want to put in the effort to do something that ridiculous.
There's for sure an association.
There is.
Yeah.
It's absolutely, and I relate to that. And I was in this big like business networking group, and they were like, "Oh, you're a millennial. Do you know that?" I'm like, "Oh, God, you're right at the cutoff." I'm like, "Yeah, but I was born in a different country. Like my mentality about things is way different. Like my parents are a very old school approach."
Yeah.
No, my parents
Yeah.
didn't give me shit. Like,
Yeah.
basically, it's like, Dad told me the first day I started swimming down here at the Sharks, he's like, if I ever have to wake you up for morning practice, that'll be the last day you swim.
Yep.
And if you ever decide to quit, here's a list of everything you owe me.
All right. Like, dang, yeah. Okay.
Gotta get to work.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
And I never missed a practice. Like, I literally swam meets with, I've told my podcast this, like, I've literally swam meets with the flu. Like, throw up, like, in between races.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
And the coach was like, we can take you home. Like, we can put you on the bus and, like, send you home. We're like, no, my team needs you.
It's almost like a hype you get off of those
like-
situations
like,
too.
No, like, no, my team needs me. Like, I need to be on relays. Like, who else is going to swim the butterfly? Like, nobody but me.
Yeah.
I'm like,
That's awesome.
you were literally puking in between races. I'm like, I got Gatorade, it's fine.
Oh, dude, when,
It's all good.
when the deck is stacked against you, it's like you
I
can take, now you can shift to that
Yeah.
sixth gear. You're like,
Yeah.
are you sure
It,
you
it
want
also
to
gives you a
actually
boost because, like, I was still swimming fast.
Yeah.
So I was like, dude, if I feel like shit and I'm still beating people, that's awesome.
That's
Yeah.
sick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like it kind of messes with people. They're like, dude, that kid's puking together every single race.
Like, and he's still winning.
Yeah, like what is going on? My team, like,
Yeah.
obviously, like my teammates were like, dude, just stay away from me until it's time to race. like thankfully, like they would like we're supposed to be 6 feet apart. There's like when we're stacked up on
This is
like
6 feet. It's a fish
It's
eye.
the camera thing. It's kind of weird. It's like
We're
compressing.
practicing social distancing,
Yeah.
right? Social distancing?
yeah.
Yeah.
So far away.
Nothing. Yeah, we're good.
But like, first 3 legs of the relay would be like really close. And
Yeah.
then like they're like, Mark, you stay back there. Like we don't want to catch your flu or whatever you got.
Yeah, get back there. You nasty. That's fine.
So like that's how it would be. And like I'm like, hey, like how long is this race? You're like, it's like Mark, it's a 4x200, so
Yeah.
you got time. I'm like, okay.
She's like, I'm gonna go nap.
Yeah.
Wake me up.
Like I just like I was just like be all woozy. Like, dude, you sure you can swim this race? I'm like, yeah, I got it. Like, don't worry about it. They're like, dude, as long as you touch first, like we don't care. But like seriously, like we're concerned about your health. I'm like, dude, we got it. Like,
Yeah.
we're fine.
That's cool.
And I think it's like I mentioned about the whole finality of of failing. I think that, I mean, there's a very physiological reason why like your body freaks out. Is because it literally thinks it's gonna die.
Oh,
but
yeah.
But then when you prove to yourself that you're like not gonna die,
Well, you also have to like.
and you place or like
for
you.
me, like
you
one of the
put it
driving points too is like I didn't want to fail my teammates.
yeah.
So like I had like
Yeah.
I was.
That's a big one.
Yeah,
You have
yeah.
to have that.
Like,
Like,
yeah.
generally is like
it's a
you on the platform.
And mostly,
Right.
like mostly swimming, other than relays,
Yeah.
it's a solo sport. Like,
Yeah.
like I mean, I didn't care who you were, I was gonna race you. But when it came to relays, like, I can't let down my team.
Yeah, I have to execute.
Yeah, I have to. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want this to be on me. I don't want to be the reason why, you know, we don't win nationals because we lost this relay. Like,
Dude, I stopped playing football in high school because I felt like I was trying harder than the teammates, and they're like, "I'm just gonna chop block." I was like, "That's not honorable." Like,
yeah.
and then they wouldn't do the conditioning, they wouldn't do the extra weight practices. I'm like, "You guys aren't trying." Like, I'm not doing this. Like,
Well, when I talked about like my nationals, like the Sharks, our club team, the reason why we got together and won nationals our first year and my sophomore year was because the girls team and the coaches rode us the entire year.
yeah.
They gave us shit. The girls team were like, "Oh, we're better than you." And I'm like, "You didn't score any points last nationals. Like, why are you giving me shit?" Like,
You're not allowed to talk smack.
yeah, it was like, well, I was on the girls team and we went to nationals and we won, and you guys didn't do anything. And the coach is like, "Yeah, the girls are
They're
our
like,
team."
they're also not lying.
Yeah.
And you're like, dang it.
Facts.
We're like, so basically, we had a couple senior guys who were like, "Dude, F this. Like, we're gonna be just as equal. We're gonna work just as hard as the girls team. Like, we do work just as hard. We just need to fine-tune some things."
Yeah.
And it's like, you younger boys need to step up. And
Yeah.
we're like, okay. He's like, "Mark, like you're one of the faster short distance guys, like sprinters.
Yeah.
Step it up." It's like, that 200 fly needs to be yours. You need to own it. I'm like, "Yes, sir."
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I'm like, okay.
What else are you gonna
Yeah.
say? Like,
I'm
that's
like-
the only thing a competitor can say right
So-
there. It's like, all right, let's
Like,
let's go.
I stepped up to the plate and they're like, "Dude, I don't care if you get seventh, like as long as you're in the top 8, like score."
Yeah.
That's cool. So I was like, "All right, I'll do my part."
Yeah.
You can see a common thread right here between 3 successful human beings that are still in their 20s and this hard work.
Yeah.
If you're watching and if you are younger, like we might sound like old heads, but so sometimes they're right.
I might be old actually.
I get a lot from my dad. Like he's probably one of the bigger influences. Like a lot of my coaches, they're definitely Coach Shope was a huge influence. He was probably, other than my dad, probably the most intimidating person I've ever met.
Yeah.
And I told you a story earlier. Like he's like, "Look, I don't coach anybody who doesn't swim anything over 200 or over He's like, "If you don't swim a 200, like I'm not coaching you." So I'm like,
Yeah.
"All right, shit, like I gotta swim." He's like, "You ever swim a 200 fly?" And I'm like, "No." He's like, "All right, well, first practice you're doing it."
Yeah.
And he made me do it in front of everyone. Like, not only have I not swam that event, like I never swam anything over 100 yards before. So I was like, shit, like how do you, like, I remember I had a teammate like Nick Perez. I'm like, he's like, "Look, don't be a hero, just pace it."
Yeah.
And like, I still to this day, I don't know what pace means. So I just go and hold on for dear life, basically.
Yeah.
After the first 100.
That's a pace.
Yeah.
Some kind of pace.
Some kind of pace,
Don't stop.
Yeah, just basically, and I had the mental fortitude where like, look, I'm not going to be the kid who, I'm not going to be the weak link. I hated that. Like I was already singled out as it is, being the black dolphin
Yeah.
in the group.
Yeah.
The only chip in the cookie, as my dad would say. Like, I just didn't want to.
You said your dad's white too?
Yeah.
That's so funny.
I told you, my dad is so filter, so.
Oh my god.
His dad's tough, man.
Only chip in the cookie. I've never heard that. That's really funny.
So I didn't want them to think any less of me, if that makes
Yeah, of
sense.
course,
Like,
of
especially like at 14, 15 years old. So and it was good because like I had, that group was so supportive. Like even though like I got ran over almost every day in practice, like my freshman year,
Yeah.
they were so supportive. Like, "Dude, it's gonna get easier. Like you're probably gonna be one of the top level swimmers. Like you keep this up, just stay with it." Because for my first week, I wanted to quit so bad.
Yeah.
And like my coach pulled me aside, is like, "Look, you're gonna get better. It's gonna get easier." And some of the senior guys who were on their way out the door to college were like, "Dude, stick with it. Like this program is gonna bring you so much more benefit. Like you're gonna succeed here." So. Thank you for my older teammates. Brian Creed, Seth Daniels. Like they all helped me out so much more. Like so much that you guys don't understand. So you guys really made an impact in my life. how I got to where I am. So.
Well, what's cool is you're able to pass that on, and like
Yeah,
I said,
exactly. Yeah.
Like I said, I mean, it's like
You're in that.
all these challenges. Yeah. So speaking of that position, he had a kid make him cry.
Yeah.
Can you tell that story?
So I taught swim lessons all through high school, like especially during the summer because it was a very easy job and I needed something that was between the hours of 10 p.m. and 5 p.m. where practices were. So I taught swim lessons at the YMCA, and I had a student, Mikey, who had cerebral palsy. He was 5 years old, and
5 years old.
yeah, 5 years old, and he was the happiest kid. Like he didn't know that anything was wrong with him.
That's
And, yeah, which is like
That's
the
awesome.
greatest joy.
The
Yeah,
ultimate
yeah,
innocence.
Yeah, ultimate innocence.
Yeah.
Yeah. I never treated him like anything was wrong with him. Like I was like, hey, Mikey, you ready to come swim with me? He's like, yeah, I'm ready to come swim with you. And like his parents, like, you know, he's like, I want to play with the other kids. Like they're running around and everything. Like he'd have to walk in like a walker, like, you know, crutches and stuff. And like I just like you know, at 5 years old, like I could run and I could do all these things. I couldn't imagine like being in his position, and like I just felt for him, but he didn't see anything wrong with him, so I didn't know how to respond.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, you know, Mikey, like we're gonna make it a goal this summer to, you know, for you to like go around with those kids and play with them. He's like, you think I could do that? I'm like, dude, you can do
Whatever you want.
whatever you want, and like thankfully that I'm feeling a little nice with the whiskey right now because I'd probably be in tears for a little bit. But
Don't cry.
like, yeah, like,
Don't cry.
you know, I've worked with him all summer for like every day for 2 months, and you know, by the end of summer, like he came into the pool deck one day without his crutches. He's like, Mark, look what I can do, and he's literally running down the pool. He's like, Mikey, don't run, you're gonna slip. But I was literally on like in tears. He's like, why are you crying? I was like, I'm just happy for you.
Yeah.
I got dust in my eyes. It's fine. It's
Dude,
pouring.
that's
Scat on
so
the
weird,
pool.
though.
It was like, you know, his
Right.
parents were like, dude, thank you so much for, you know, and like he's probably, yeah, dude, he's probably almost in college now. You know, like I heard he was playing baseball. He's out in Arizona now.
That's
I'm like,
wild.
That's
crazy.
so
Yeah,
cool, dude.
It's so trippy now. Like,
So that was probably a pivotal thing
yeah,
for him.
yeah, like
Just to set that first goal.
and like, man, he's such a happy kid. And like it just, I'm gonna get emotional.
Can we just talk about something else?
He was just like such a happy kid. And he just, you know, innocent to the world. Like,
He deserves to be happy.
Yeah.
He deserves.
You know, you don't
yeah.
deserve to be mushed down. You
Yeah.
deserve.
Yeah, like I don't know how the other kids treated him. Like I know kids can be cruel, but like he was just so happy that I don't think it really bothered him.
Yeah.
But then the fact that like at the end of the summer he'd like run around, like even
Yeah.
if it was some short distance, he's like, I can't go that far. And I'm like, that's like
Huge.
4 kids go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
so-
you can go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was awesome. And like, you know, he's like, thank you so much for taking me swimming every day. And I'm like, dude, don't worry about it.
You're like, thank you.
No,
It's
thank
almost like
you, yeah.
like you feel thankful for the experience. and
Yeah.
someone like
Because
that.
you know,
Yeah.
it really like opened my eyes to like helping other people. And like that was like kind of like my first taste of being a coach and like giving back to other people. So
Yeah.
Yeah, and especially in the avenue that you enjoyed too. Like swimming
Yeah.
was a passion of yours. Obviously, to be able to
Yeah.
share that with someone is easier
Yeah.
to relate. I feel like.
Yeah.
Like
Like
same thing with lifting.
he's, you know, he was so grateful for everything. Like I've coached other people, and like I've coached military candidates. I've coached like, you know, I've coached the Navy SEAL. Like nothing brings that much joy to me than, you know, coaching Mikey. Because like that was so impactful, like
Yeah.
especially for his life. Like, I mean, who doesn't want to, you know,
Yeah.
play with their peers and like be able to do what they can do? So
Yeah.
That's probably the driving force behind us. You asked me earlier, like,
Yeah.
what's going on, how I've been doing with the business and all that
Yeah.
stuff, and then why I picked this up. And I told you that part of it was because I looked around at what I was doing. It's like I keep doing this all the time, every year,
Yeah.
and it's not nearly to the level of the scale of like a success that I see in my mind, and that's just a matter of consistency. But the other part of it was just I had the conversation with Mark where we started training, and he had mentioned that he just wanted to start training other people.
Yeah.
And started to coach people, and I think it was, for me, what it was, it's like this notion of legacy had been banging around my mind for a while, and I think maybe it's because I'm getting older, whatever. But he mentioned that it's like it's this idea of like leaving this legacy of looking beyond your own selfish chips or whatever you want to call it, this like weight on your shoulders, and then doing something that because you had that moment earlier. You said you were like in high school, right? Or what?
Yeah, I was
yeah.
16, yeah.
You were so 16 when you had that
Yeah.
experience. And like, I hadn't had these experiences until probably like my late 20s. Well, that's when I kind of got out of just training myself, and then I was like, all right, I'm going to go and train people because that'd be interesting to do. And then that's when I trained the kid with the scoliosis.
Yeah.
And I wonder, is that like kind of the driving force behind you? Because you mentioned something about building something here on the East Coast.
Yeah.
And we'll get into that.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And is that sort of the driving force?
So ready.
Is that the driving force behind that project or that idea?
Yeah, so the driving force behind it is kind of that epiphany of like the strongest people, that discrepancy between what I understood strength to be and what it took to get there versus what I agreed with my beliefs, my selflessness versus selfish versus top of the pyramid in terms of strength. So if you guys are familiar with the gym, our motto is strength and character, forged by iron. You know, like a 405 bench or like a 600 squat or whatever, like that's science and moving, and it's just like, it's like if you put the work in, you're good. You know, like it's just mechanics. Like,
Yeah.
and you don't have to be a strong person to lift that amount of weight. Is the point, basically, right? So,
That's a really interesting point.
Yeah.
The body adapts.
exactly.
But then
It's
the
science.
fundamentals are the same.
Yeah, it's
all across the
predictable
board.
and it's hard work, and that's just it's science.
I
at
like
this
it.
point. Like anyone can run that and get stronger. Like if you work hard enough,
Yeah.
like you're gonna get strong, but it doesn't make you a good person. So the whole purpose of the gym is like we want to be strong people. Like, I want to build a strong person, not just a strong lifter. Like,
I think you'd get along with Ben Bergeron. Have you heard?
I'm a fan of Bergeron.
Yeah, so one of his quotes is, "Better people make better athletes."
Huh?
So it's very similar to your slogan.
Yes, I'm a big
And,
fan of Bergeron.
yeah.
Actually, I when I did do MMA, I did a lot of CrossFit, and Bergeron was one of the guys I looked a lot of, like a lot.
Have
of
you read his
stuff.
book, Chasing Excellence?
Nope, I have not.
Definitely read.
Yeah?
Yeah, very good.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a pretty short book, but it's very impactful.
Yeah, he's got good literature, and a lot of his theology behind training and like why he's doing what he's doing is like solid. It's
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, I enjoy his book. Like I follow comp training, so I do a lot of like his workouts and stuff. Like the workout I did today, like the
Yeah.
which I'm
You got it done.
Eh,
a little upset.
yeah.
It happens. But I didn't end on a miss though.
Then-
So I dropped down to 225. and did-
The work continues.
So,
And you'll have more opportunities to prove to yourself that you're pretty solid.
That's really cool.
Yeah. So what are you working on?
It's well, it's kind of like extrapolating that idea, and then owning a powerlifting gym. I'm mainly powerlifting, so, and by mainly I mean only. I've got a couple, like I'm trying to.
Hello, there's.
I come from a store, like, I kind of hate the term, but I kind of get into like sport-specific training. Like, there are certain aspects that transfer across sports, like, they just transfer. And then, you know, you get into the more specific position drills, regardless. I've been mainly a power lifter and strength coach for a long time now. Like, I've been coaching people since I was 18, I'm 29, so I have like 11 solid years of
Wow.
coaching people.
Yeah.
Holy crap.
3 of those are spent in a professional facility. Like, I've worked out with Tebow twice. Like, I mean, we're brushing elbows with these caliber of athletes, and it's really cool. But in owning a powerlifting gym and having that knowledge, I'm like, I felt one-dimensional, kind of, sort of, which is okay. I can make as much difference in powerlifting as I feel like I can make.
Yeah.
But in owning this gym, you know, the gym is super old school, so it's attracted some of the old school bodybuilders and the Olympic lifters. Industries I'm not as familiar with.
Yeah.
You know, like just levels of lifting that like I know, but I don't want to specialize in.
Yeah.
And now, you know, I think it's a vision that's easily agreeable with, that a strong person is more important than, you know, a strong lifter. I feel like that's very easy to relate to. So that's
Very transferable. Yeah.
for sure, you know, and it's like it's attracted people from other disciplines in the lifting community that also exhibit physical strength. And it's kind of extrapolated to the point to where like some amazing people are in this inner circle now that really believe in this vision, and I'm only equipped for powerlifting. So, you know, anyone who's watched like Ronnie Coleman Unbelievable or like Pumping Iron, you know, like Gold's Minutes, Metroflex, Arlington in Texas, like these are the gyms, you know, and almost all of them are on the West Coast. We don't really have many on the East Coast. We have Powerhouse Tampa, there's a couple up north that are okay, but like there's no like Destination Dallas on the East Coast of the United States of America. So it's like I'm with these people now that, one, I believe in, two, they believe in this vision. I believe this vision is unique because no one's doing it.
Yeah.
No one's doing it. Like, people are talking about it, but there's not like
Dude,
an
you can
actual...
be like the Disney World of lifting. Dude, you're in basically
Yeah, you are.
Orlando, like
Yeah.
you're in Orlando. Like, you can be like, dude, I'd run with that. I'd be like Disney World fucking lifting. That would be like my catchphrase. Like East Coast Mecca, Disney World lifting.
Yeah. Yeah, and
Trifecta.
that's literally what we're trying to build now. Is we're going through. This is a few years down the road. So if you're listening, you're getting the heads up for real on this, because this is totally going to be a thing. It's a facility with the disciplines of powerlifting, Olympic lifting, bodybuilding, probably MMA as well. Let's got a couple, fighters interested in doing something like this, and we all agree with that same division of like the definition of strength in the industry should be extrapolated into the person, not just the athlete, if that makes sense. So we're playing with names right now. Eastside Mecca.
Eastside Mecca. Yeah.
Eastside Mecca and redefining strength is looking like the slogan. So that's kind of what we're going for. That'll be a facility name with which each one of these leaders in the industry. We got powerlifting, we've got weightlifting, we're going to have bodybuilding, and probably MMA as well. There's like 2 or 3 coaches each side that really they're going to be able to own and operate and brand themselves under that facility's roof with the similar message of redefining strength. Like, how are you helping? How are you giving back? Like, you're a strong athlete. How are you a strong person now?
Yeah, that's awesome.
And
like,
that's,
I
that's
feel
the
like,
goal.
yeah, definitely the world needs more of that. Like, and yeah, that's awesome. Like that's to me that's the definition of like a real athlete, real person. Because like you
think so.
It's something that's missing. I feel like my podcast knows like I hate professional sports. Like I just don't like it. Like I feel a lot of athletes lose their soul to like the almighty dollar, and they lose part of themselves. So like college sports I love because they still have passion for it and they still care, but
the incentive is different.
Yeah,
it's no longer the incentive or the job.
Yeah, I have pride in my team and everything. It's somehow it's lost in the professional realm. And you can disagree with me all you want, but the facts are in the pudding.
Yeah, have you been there? If you disagree, have you been there? And have you worked with these people?
Yeah.
That'd be my first question
Yeah.
for you. Because
Like,
I've seen it
if
firsthand.
you want to join the podcast and explain, that tell me that I'm completely wrong, then by all
find some
means,
more stools.
Yeah, we can find some more stools. But, like I see it, and like there's a change in like these athletes where they, as soon as they sniff a little bit of money, it's they're a totally different person.
There's a series on YouTube. How did you spend your first $1 million? And like the fact that is a huge portion of the media of professional athletics is like, okay, so that's a focus. It may not be the focus for some of them, but it's a focus.
Yeah.
How much fun did you have making this money, as opposed to like?
And like we go back to the mentor thing. Like a lot of these, like Allen Iverson had a mentor where he's like, listen, you're only getting this amount of money a month, and that's all you're getting. And like I'm going to manage your money, and that's why Allen Iverson, like, other than a couple of like little hiccups, he was fairly successful. Yeah. And he has money at the end of his career. Like he's retired.
Yeah. He was smart and he's still comfortable.
He had a mentor and he had somebody control his money, because like a lot of athletes don't have that. And like college, they have this like freshman orientation. They have it's called Fat Tuesdays. Every Tuesday you meet in the Moore Center, because I went to Florida State, so you meet in the Moore Center, and they basically tell you how to be a professional athlete. It's like, hey, go to class, do this. It's like, listen, these are the things that are going to get you hooked up. Like, you see these athletes with, beer bottles and like glass. Married with a lot of things. So you get married with, you're putting cheap tuxedo, basically.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna get married with a box. I wanna have put me in like the ground so you're like, let me out. Like, oh, mine's gonna be hilarious. Well, all sorts of jokes at my funeral. But yeah, most people, cheap tuxedo and some dust, dude.
Yeah,
that's what's going with you.
So, but I feel like it's very important to like have mentors in your life to help you succeed.
Yeah.
Like, a lot of people they don't have that, and I feel like throughout my life and especially throughout my athletic career, I feel like it's fairly strongly needed in any aspect of life, really. Like whether you're in sports or academics or being an entrepreneur, especially being a successful business owner, or any part of your like any job you have, you really need to have some kind of mentor.
I 100% agree.
Yeah, that's part of the aspiration with what we're trying to do with this is, even us reaching out to you and coming over here was like, it was weeks in the making, but it was part of the idea was that you have a different perspective, and every individual person that we come into contact with is a different perspective, whether it's Ray or whoever guest we happen to have on here. And you've just been, honestly, like you're by far one of the most electric, most energetic people that we've ever had on.
Dude,
the show.
thank you.
Yeah.
Like that.
And it really speaks to.
It's like The Rock.
Well, I mean,
Here to electrify.
well, I mean, what's really cool is that you mentioned that, like, again, like I'm gonna go back to the whole notion of like you kind of just get past lifting with a chip on your shoulder. Did you actually lift at Westside at some point?
No, I have, okay, 1, 2, I have 5 friends who have lifted at Westside, and I know that if I walked in with them, I'd be able to lift there.
Gotcha.
I have no
Okay.
problem. But
Okay.
I generally, and it's different now too, because it used to be strict, and you move up there and you train, or you don't lift there.
Yeah.
And now, you know, with the media and everything, like he has a lot of guests come in. If you're a coach, you can go in and just talk to Louis for free. He doesn't charge crap.
Yeah.
You literally just walk in and talk to him.
Yeah.
But in terms of training, I know it's a place I could absolutely go train
Yeah.
one day.
Well, I mean,
And
that's something I want to touch on too. Like, I definitely I have this pressure on myself that I'd like to be able to go there and actually talk to Louis at least time
Yeah.
before he croaks. Because the guy's like, just it
Well,
seems
he's
like he's on his last
basically
legs.
at the legend status at this point. 'Cause
Yeah.
He's like the godfather of powerlifting.
And they're like holding that guy together with like pins and rods and
Yeah.
like all
Yeah.
and like medication.
And
He's-
I'm a firm
my
believer,
God.
like one of the things I learned from swimming, because I've been blessed with the opportunities to go to a whole bunch of different places and meet a whole bunch of different athletes.
Yeah.
You learn from every athlete because everyone has a different background from you. And like, I'm a firm believer, like having podcasts, like talking to different people, like you learn a little bit about them, like what they do and like what you can implement in your training and things like that. And like I learned things from you teaching deadlifts. I learned things from Sumo Deadlifts that I never knew.
That's cool.
So like, just things like that. And, like the reason why I got into podcasting was one, I literally had a dream like 2 nights in a row that I had a podcast.
Yeah.
And 2, like I just love, because I've become a vicarious reader as I've gotten older.
Yo.
So, which is weird because you couldn't get me to read a book in high school to save my life.
Yeah.
Which is crazy. But yeah, like I feel like people's experiences and their wealth of knowledge is so transferable now, and like you're basically getting the summary of every book they read just by talking to them.
Do you guys know who Ty Lopez is?
Yeah.
So he's a little gimmicky with his ads, but I've taken a few courses from him, and one
He's
quote
good.
he said that really kind of stuck in my head. He said, "Make friends in the world and make friends with the dead," and I didn't understand that.
Yeah.
And like he goes on in like the next few minutes in his video, he talks about, he was like, read books.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my gosh, why didn't I think of that? Like, make friends with the dead. Like, you can literally like see the thinking process of these great humans that have lived, hundreds of years before us, and like, and you can pull from it and relate to it, and it's kind of cool because like scientists, I'm not a scientist. Like, like I can watch and evaluate movement, but I'm by no means like a PhD. Like,
Yeah.
you're a swimmer, I'm a power lifter, like, and we're sitting here talking about the same exact values and gratifications we get out of training. Like, there's some universal stuff there too.
Yeah.
Like, regardless how different the sport is, like, there's the human experience of being an athlete that is just transferable, and it's like it's cool to see that. But making friends with the dead and reading,
Yeah.
read.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, it's so
Be
bad.
a nerd.
I'm always a big proponent. Like my mom was a history teacher growing up, so I've always been a fan of history and looking up different civilizations and stuff. One of my favorite civilizations that I think like there's a lot of things that we can take from them is the ancient Spartans.
I was about to say,
Spartans.
this is Sparta.
Yes. Like I believe like the women were expected to keep up with the men.
Yeah. Only Spartan women
give
birth to real men.
Yeah, exactly. And like that, that value, and like the men were basically bred to serve their country, and like and like that. I feel like that's lost now.
I think it is too. I think it is.
I'm not gonna be. I promise I'm not gonna be.
We
Stepping
can
on
go
some
into the
toes there.
holy masculinity thing.
Yeah.
If you want, let's
Like-
pull up a chair, people.
Yeah.
Come on.
It's just they rooted out softness like from an early age. So basically, if you were deformed, you were discarded, which I don't believe, because I mean, I'm Catholic, so like I'm a firm believer in faith, and like God made you the way you are. Like
You're the way you're supposed to be for a reason.
Yeah, for a reason.
Yeah.
Like no matter what's going on with you. But,
Yeah. Some of it's just a byproduct of humanity.
Yeah.
Some of it's just
Yeah.
you just got born jacked up. Like, you're a human. That can happen.
Yeah.
It's just-
Yeah.
welcome to biology.
But like they, everything was in service for the country, and basically were instilled like, my greatest honor is to serve my country, and, pray to whoever they prayed to. I think there was like a split between Athena and Ares, which I think the ones were
The Grecian deities.
Yeah, the ones who were praying to Ares were a little more fucked up, but
Okay.
there's like, because I like mythology, because like this is stuff my mom used to read me before I went to bed. She read me a story about Ares. He used to like cover, his blanket was the skins of the men he's slain in battle.
It's a heavy blanket.
Yeah, I was like,
It's my roommate's dog's name.
Why would you tell me this story? Like, I'm 5 years old.
Good night.
Like,
You're like, yeah, good night, Mom, love you too.
yeah, like I'm gonna have like nightmares for the rest of my life. But it's very my favorite civilization to listen to or to read about. And like, I feel like there's aspects of their culture that can be brought to.
I like the honor, I like the honesty, I like the real.
Yeah.
And I like the non-insulting too. Like.
And like, well, they fat shamed, which people don't know. Like,
Oh, interesting. I didn't know that.
They did, yeah. So they so at a certain age, I think when you entered the Agoge at 7 years old, you were given a red tunic, and it was, a certain size. And if you didn't get another tunic after that. So
Yeah.
if you outgrew that tunic, they made you like you need to eat less, and they made you hungry. So like they gave you smaller portions and like food that was distasteful. So you were forced kind of to steal, and if you got caught stealing, like there would be severe punishment, obviously.
Yeah.
So they fat shamed. They took, they made you pull out reeds to make your bed, like river reeds out of the, to make your bed, and like they had all this, just crazy stuff that totally makes sense.
Yeah.
So I mean, people went back to kind of that way of thinking, and I think the world would be better off.
Yeah, I think part of it is in the Greek mentality is like this notion of stoicism, and stoicism like goes across different, like you said, like there's just commonalities across different perspectives and different visions in the world. And stoicism, or you want to call it like mindfulness in like the East, it's just this idea that
Enlightenment in the East?
it's not, no, I mean like,
It's more like way of life.
well, the interesting thing about like I've discovered about mindfulness and meditation is that it really is a lot closer to stoicism in that, like you said, the Spartans are making their beds out of reeds. And in stoicism, there's a practice where you actually like pick a day, I think it was out of the week, where you live with the sparsest amount of like you get to the worst possible idea of what you think your life could be, and you live that day with the worst clothes, the worst circumstances, the worst food or no food, just to prove to yourself that you're okay. And I think that's what athleticism has sort of shown all of us, is that in spite of the challenges that come before you, I haven't particularly had any like injuries. I know you have. I'm not sure like your list of injuries, but to strive for the big numbers that you've been doing for.
Let me go off of injuries real quick, like, because this is something that my dad will not get through his head. He does, like, I used to CrossFit and like, dude, I still practice a little bit lifting. He's like, you're gonna get yourself hurt. I was like, listen, I've never hurt myself lifting. Knock on wood.
Yeah.
But like, if you do anything at an extreme level, or at a high level, a highly competitive level, you're gonna get injured. Like, there's no way around it.
Riding the line.
I've got concussion swimming. Don't ask me how I did it. It just happened. Like
There's a level of athleticism.
Yeah.
When you're going to compete at the highest level, your goal is not health.
Yeah.
Damn health.
Yeah.
Win.
Yeah.
That's if you talk to a true athlete and a true competitor, they don't want to be healthy.
It's not healthy.
What's first place?
Yeah.
What do I do?
Yeah.
What have I got to do to get there? Like that's
Pushing the
For
limits.
8 years, like my sole goal was touch my hand on the wall first.
Yeah.
That was it.
I mean, like, you're not thinking like, man,
You're not
is
thinking
my cortisol
longevity,
going to spike after this? Like,
You're not thinking longevity.
that's not good.
Yeah.
No, freaking win.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
it's an entirely different mindset, and to the normal human being who hasn't experienced something like that, it's a very foreign way of thought. And for people like us, it's
It
very
is.
natural.
It is.
Most people, whether you agree with it or not, doesn't matter. I'm telling you that is the mindset that exists in the type of people that want to be number one.
That's
straight up.
And that's what also sets you apart. Not necessarily if you're just a normal person, I want to say. It's what's going to inevitably lead you to higher levels of success, because it's the willingness to face adversity or failure, or whatever you want to call it, that is going to challenge you to become a better person.
Yeah.
And you mentioned swimming when you were sick.
Yeah.
I've been watching the show called Formula One Drive to Survive.
Yeah, Formula One's real.
And oh man, there's this kid, the current driver for Mercedes, Lewis Hamilton, black kid, similar challenges being a black kid, driving in a sport that's predominantly white, predominantly affluent. He grew up in
Lower London.
English kid,
Yeah,
London.
Lower East Side London.
Yeah, and his
Shout out to Matt Shed, one of my teammates. She's from there.
yeah. I mean, he grew up with like all these same challenges, and his dad worked 4 jobs and like sacrificed his entire life to be able to support his kid through this thing. And I mean, it's just like it's what encourages someone like Lewis to have like 104 fever, I think, in one of the episodes. Yeah. And he was like, I have to drive. And you're sitting in a car, like dressed in like a full body suit.
You're
like
strapped in.
and you're strapped in, like, you're like this. And you're like, you have, like, he's the top, like, #1 athlete in the world.
That's so cool.
And like, he didn't do well for this particular race. But like, he has to really strive to do his absolute best. And it's not a matter of health, because at some point, it always blows my mind if I encourage someone to train or to eat healthier. I know that they probably have a habit of spending minimum $100 a weekend just getting wasted. Probably. And yet if you ask them to spend $100 a week to buy healthier foods, it's like, no, I can't do that.
Like $40 on protein and like $20 on a multi.
Yeah.
$60 a month.
And they're like, no, I can't do that. Like, maybe I need to go see my
$40
doctor.
for protein? What'd you do this weekend? Oh,
I was a ranger.
Actually, so my old roommate, he's like, dude, why do you spend $100 a month on CrossFit? I was like, what do you spend on the weekend drinking?
Yeah.
He's like, oh, probably like $200. I'm like, there you go.
Yeah.
That's 2 months of CrossFit for me.
You're like, this sentence is done.
Yeah. He's like, that makes sense.
Proved it
like,
to me.
Listen, I have total gym access 7 days a week.
Yeah.
I have somebody write my program for me. I don't have to think about it. I look the way I look because I work hard, and I'm following the program. I'm following the plan.
Yeah.
So trust the process. Like, that was one of the biggest, quotes. Like, don't be mediocre and trust the process.
Yeah.
And I trust the process, and I got me, super strong. Like, stronger than I ever. I would definitely say, like, post college me was healthier than college me.
Yeah.
For sure. And like, if I knew the stuff that I know now when I was in college competing, I'd be a totally different athlete.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
And I think that's what we have the opportunity
Yeah.
to do with things like this.
This
and
is why
what we're
I
doing with East Coast
want to get
Mecca.
back in coaching. Like, if
Yeah.
I have a kid who is like me, who had the same drive like me, because I mean, I always go back and I tell Mark now, I was like, there's very few athletes that are made like us now. Like, I haven't seen it. Like, they don't have the same drive as we did.
Same. And you know what's scary about that is the talent pool is even bigger now.
I know.
Yeah.
The media's blown up, and now the awareness is huge, and the talent pool is so much bigger.
A
So
lot of
hard work
retention.
just separates more and more. Like
Yeah.
that's the separator now. It's not genetics.
Yeah.
You know, it's like you
The
can like
willingness to
something,
do the
but
work.
like
Yeah.
whatever. You know, it's like there's so many more people involved in it now. So it's like the hard work makes more and more and more
Yeah.
and more difference. Like you have less and less perfect storm athletes like that got in at the right time, had a great coach from day one. You know, like. There's less and less and less and less and less of that, even with the growing talent pool, because I feel like hard work is the main factor that's missing a little bit, you know? I think like these talks are so productive for anyone who's listening that's like, if you have any sort of aspiration that's like sports related, you can outwork. I am not built for powerlifting, and I am one of the top guys like in my weight class. Like you can get really high without that 1% genetic potential you feel like you need. Like I feel like Dave Hoff is the only perfect storm athlete in powerlifting, legit, like the only one, and maybe Taylor Atwood, but there's so few of them. It's like hard work literally dictates the winner at this point in time in athleticism.
5'10" as a sword.
Yeah.
I'm black.
They're stacked against you.
The average height in my college team was 6'4". Like, just shows like I was shorter than a lot of the girls on the swim team.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of the girls came in at like 5'11", 5'10".
Yeah.
You know, we had one girl who was 6'1".
That's huge, bitch.
Like,
That's a huge.
I couldn't let that go.
yeah, they were fast. Like, you know, they were like the nicest girls in the world.
Yeah.
And like, I had a teammate who was 6'10". Like, how am I?
That's
the guy is
insane.
literally a foot taller than me. How am I
That's
supposed to race him?
insane.
And you know, he's
6'10".
Yeah.
That's
wrong.
insane.
Yeah. We call him Twiggy.
God.
That was his nickname.
Yeah.
Super nice dude. Like, he's like, dude, you work hard, man. And I'm like, thanks, bro. Like,
Appreciate
thanks,
it.
bro.
Appreciate it.
Yeah. He's like,
You're used to less oxygen. You're basically blood doping at this point.
yeah, exactly. So, but like, yeah, like I mean, I think that chip on my shoulder kind of drove me through like 8 years of my career because I had something to prove.
Yeah.
But like, it definitely shifted after, and I actually swam like a year or two of master's swimming post-college.
Yeah.
Just because I wanted to be independent. Because I missed out an entire year, like, because they canceled my scholarships. Or I missed out on, like, what could have been.
Yeah.
And I actually swam faster 100 times post-college than I did in college.
That's pretty rare.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, I couldn't swim the 200 anymore, so I had to focus all my energy in another event.
Other things in life, yeah.
Well, I tried to swim the 200. I swam the 200 at Masters Nationals, and it was just awful. Like, I knew everything felt wrong.
Yeah.
Like the first 100, I was like, all right, I can maybe skate away with this last 100.
Yeah.
And I pushed off the 150 wall, and I was like, dude, I can't get my shoulder out of the water, so I'm just gonna kick. I know for myself I cheated because I kicked more than 15 yards off the wall.
Yeah.
But the refs didn't call it. So is it cheating?
No?
If you, I feel like if you
Not
know,
to the ref.
yeah, if you know it's wrong, it's cheating.
Yeah.
But I literally couldn't get my arm out of the water, so I hit 20 yards off the wall.
Yeah.
And then kind of
Got what you could get.
got what I could get my arm somewhat out of the water for like the last 5 yards.
Yeah.
You still made the effort, though.
Yeah,
You
still made the
made
effort. Like I told my coach, like
With
never
it.
again. I was like,
Yeah.
I'm never swimming the 200 fly again.
Yeah.
Like, I can't. I physically can't.
Yeah.
So
That's crazy.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's pretty robust podcast, I would say.
yeah,
I would say it's solid.
Touch
Yeah,
ball.
yeah.
A lot of good value.
And I think we can definitely go around and do a lot more stuff. Definitely want to
Joe
circle back around to Orlando. Like,
Yeah.
do some more stuff.
DMT, what do you guys say?
Yeah! Oh, man. You got deep.
Yeah,
I don't do that.
But do you have any, like, sort of last words that you kind of want to put out there?
And for anyone listening, like, if you love something, freaking do it. Like, you can find a way to make it work. For real, you really can.
You can.
Like, I'm lifting weights.
Yeah.
I'm a farm kid lifting weights. And I'm making a living doing it and helping people, and I feel fulfilled. If you are chasing a job that is just a paycheck, I'm not going to say stop. But pursue what you enjoy and use the revenue from what you hate to build up what you like.
Yeah, transition.
In a few words.
Yeah.
Words, like,
Yeah.
I mean, do it intelligently, but seriously, like, if there's something you truly love and feel called to, like, go do it. You're supposed to go do that. And literally find a way to help people doing it. You'll feel so much more fulfilled. It's pretty crazy. It's really cool. I can tell you guys some stories that, like you said, like there's a story, like tearjerker stories.
Yeah.
Like, I got some tearjerker stories,
Yeah.
bro. Like that's real. That's what counts. Like, yeah, a set of tricep extensions is cool. 4 or 5 bench, cool. All right, whatever. Somebody didn't commit suicide on a tricep set. Like, legit. Like that's a real thing that happened. Like this kid, I texted him and I just hadn't seen him in 2 weeks. I didn't really know. Like I just hadn't seen him in 2 weeks. I was like, hey man, how you doing? Hope to see you at the gym soon. Literally, that's it. And like 4 days later, I get this really long message where he's going through some issues and he tried to take his life. And I was like, what do you say that? I wasn't expecting that at all. I was like,
Yeah.
meet me in the gym tomorrow. Let's work out. Let's get a workout together. We didn't say anything about the entire workout. There are other people in the gym, dude.
Yeah. Like sometimes, like that's what they need, dude. Like, 'cause,
Yeah.
Yeah.
You never know, like what people are going through. Like, I mean, we both had our slips where we hit like really hard
Some
slumps.
dark places, yeah.
Like I was in a dark place for a long time, and it took like my brother's like, hey, let's go shooting at the range. I'm like,
Yeah.
all right, let's. And he kind of dragged me out of the house and grabbed me out. He literally took me there. He's like, dude, what the hell's going on? Like my brother's just like I feel like my family has a weird like connection. Like we
That's
all,
good.
like we all.
That's
My
rare
mom,
for families
dude, I could be a million miles away from my mother. She's like, what's wrong with you?
Get out of my head, Mom.
Yeah, she's like, she's got ESP or something like that. My brother kind of got the same way. He's like, hey, what's going on, man? Like, I haven't seen you in a couple days. Like, what's going on?
Yeah.
And he took me to the range. We kind of talked it out while we're, shooting rifles. And he's like, you feel better? I'm like, yeah. It's like, I needed this. And like,
Take a full breath.
Yeah. He's like, dude, you need to like open up more. He's like, you know me. I don't talk. He's like, dude, I get it. Just, every once in a while check in.
Yeah.
It's sometimes that's all you need, just to check in with those people and just be. People appreciate real, so like once you're done, once you really care, they're gonna vibe with you.
Yeah.
Man, real is rare right now.
Yeah.
So I mean, anyone literally that's listening, be real with people. Like if you think something's wrong, or if you feel like something's wrong with you, that's not weak to go look for help. It's not
Yes.
like that's actually strong. Because what's easier, to clam up and like be pissy about it? That's far easier than being like, this bothers me. Like having this hard discussion, that's it takes so much more strength. Like go do that. Don't be a pussy.
Yeah,
like, just go talk about it. God
Yeah.
dang it. Like,
Yeah.
It takes a strong person to like admit that
To admit
something's
you're
wrong with them and like
Yes.
Yeah.
Like,
So, like, you know,
take
shit.
steps
Yeah,
to get rid of it.
It took me so, like, cause I mean, like, dad's old school, so like, you know, I grew up never crying. Like,
Don't say
yeah,
anything.
don't show any weakness. Like,
Yep.
you're brought up with that mentality, like being, and especially being a male in that kind of society, like you're not taught to show weakness. So, like, for me to say like I'm feeling like really down, like I'm not feeling like myself, like it takes a lot of strength to do that. And like that's what being a strong person is, like being.
And that's redefining strength.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah.
Seriously though,
Like,
I mean, like those are the steps that it takes. That's truly a
Being
strong
being
person.
not afraid to ask for help, basically.
Yeah.
Is what I'm trying
And
to say.
no man is an island.
Yeah.
Very
Gotcha.
good quote, very true quote. And no one gets to this life alone. No one is self-made. There's no such thing, literally. Everyone has help. Everyone has people that are positioned in their life to help them. And like okay, I'm the sole proprietor of a gym. I'm still not self-made. I had to have some sort of investment. I have to have people that believe in what I'm doing. Nobody is self-made. Stop thinking you are an island and you are by yourself. You are not by yourself. Stop being a puss. And if you need help, go get it. Like, that's strong. That's the harder decision. Ask yourself, if you are worried about your manhood or womanhood or the strength of your person and how that's perceived, ask yourself, what is the harder decision to make? Go talk to somebody about this, or go climb up in my room and go drink wine by myself. What's the easier decision? I'll wait. Obviously, like, the latter is the easier decision because it's less painful. Choose the other one.
Yeah.
Choose the other one. And then guess what? You grow through that, and you can help other people through it. So I would say pursue your passion and literally just be real with the people around. If you think something's wrong with someone, you don't have to be a dick, but you can be like, "Are you okay?" That is not an overly sensitive thing to say. That's called being a friend, and you can do that. And you're not a punk for doing that. Like, that's real. That's being real. So I guess the overall message of the gym is being real and holding yourself and your others accountable, and just love on people. Like, that's what we're here to do. You're humans. You have somewhere between 70 and 90, sometimes way less than 70 years on this earth. Make a difference. Like, go listen to the song "Do Something" by Matthew. That's actually, cheers to that, because that's a dope song.
Sweet. So where can people find you?
Backbone Barbell Gym on IG, or Ray_198_ powerlifter on IG. Yeah, I mean, hopefully you'll be hearing from this in a very big way. Hopefully there's no way you won't hear from this at some point in the future. If you guys ever want to get involved, if you want to learn how to sponsor children's, please just like shoot any one of these gentlemen a DM.
Yeah.
We'll get in contact, and I will happily coach you for free if you will sponsor a kid in a third world country. Like, we're trying to grow this team, and we got some strong people on the team. I got people that bench over 600 pounds. I'm trying to be the youngest geared lifter, youngest drug-free lifter, and lightest drug-free lifter by about 50 pounds to squat a gram. Like, that's the goal. We're not just like, yay, participation trophy, 300 squat at 200 pounds of body weight. Like, no, we want to break records. So it's good coaching, but you can do it, and also you're going to get to pin power in third world country, and you get, like, I think it's something that you as a lifter is also could get some fulfillment out of. You know, you're doing something for someone else as well. That's really cool.
Sweet deal.
Yeah.
So I myself, as the fitness individual that's sitting here on this table, is you can find me at My Primal Being. But if you want to find the entity that actually produces all this content, see me at Echelon Media.
And then you can find me at MCOX91 on Instagram. And
We got to create a Florida's Fittest.
Florida's Fittest podcast. Well, Florida's Fittest podcast on Instagram. You can follow them. That's us, and like we'll show you some behind the scenes stuff, and we'll post every podcast update. Yes, we're on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Breaker, Google Podcasts, all the podcast streaming apps you can find us on. And yeah, don't follow me on Facebook. That's that. Yeah, man, just always be the best version of yourself each and every day. Read more, learn more, do more.
Be a nerd. Be a nerd.
Just be passionate about you know what drives you, and like I'm gonna quote something that's super nerdy of me. The hardest decisions require the strongest wills, and that's from Thanos. It is. Avengers.
Pretty good. That's pretty good.
Marvel's
So,
fine.
yeah.
Top it off.
Yeah.
Cherry on the cake.
Yeah. So
Nice.
Hashtag. Yeah, that's it.
hashtag,
That's a wrap.
Hashtag we're out of here.
Thank you guys for listening.
Deuces.
Thank you guys for listening. See you.